Hello everyone, I hope that you are doing fine. Today I'm here with another topic. I would like to talk about interest, happiness, joy, pleasure today, about positive feelings. Because positive feelings are also much important to understand and to study and to pay attention to, right? We are perhaps always ready to hear that trauma and tough experiences will cause and recreate unpleasant feelings. That's true. But for some people, it is still, surprising to know that trauma does also something with your relationship with positive feelings as well. Well, I am a psychotherapist and I mainly work with trauma-related reactions and disorders. I often face repeatedly occurring phenomenon in therapy room where people complain about experiencing uncomfortable feelings like feelings of uncertainty and unsafety and fear when they feel joyful and happy for a short time. Many may feel that it is fear or it is an ambiguous kind of threatening feeling which emerge in the moment or shortly after they connect to a good feeling inside their body. And some may even feel weird after noticing it and really realizing that it is a good feeling they are experiencing. Many people get surprised when realizing that it is a trauma response and it is there actually because of an automatic response to chronic stress exposure. When our brain had to constantly deal with the stress, with pressure and unpredictability, our nervous system's habitual condition becomes overactivation and survival fight-flight driven strategy. Like when you as a kid had to walk on eggshell because you got a parent who was emotionally unstable or whose mood state was explosive and unpredictable. And then you learn to adjust to changes of moods and emotional states of your parent, and to do so you had to walk on eggshell, trying to avoid, rocking the boat or making a trouble, triggering an unpleasant emotional consequence or an explosive reaction or a threatening environment in your home, right? So your overactivation and survival mechanisms were much needed to serve and protect harmony and to protect you. And this way of tackling surroundings becomes an accustomed way of living, a written script in your nervous system. So we can say that, known, accepted, safe, and main feelings the nervous system is habituated to will be, feelings of fear and unsafety and also anticipation of danger. So pleasure, joy, happiness may unfortunately become very challenging to tolerate and accept in the aftermath of such overarching experience of living in an atmosphere where you constantly interpret psychological threat and danger. And so safety and all of those positive feelings which have some bond and association with safety and grounded feeling of being connected to here and now and literally connectedness to yourself, to your surroundings and people, such as interests, such as joy, pleasure and so on, will be unknown for the system. It is like the system take these feelings as strangers and distant materials, which make your nervous system gets very careful and attendant, vigilant and even fearful. You see, this is again a trauma paradox, because a traumatized nervous system loves to attach to and hold on to threat and unsafety, and then your capacity to allow yourself to embrace and take happiness into your system gets very limited. And many people report that they feel the happiness but on a very shallow superficial level, and it feels like they dare to take it in and hold on to it just slightly. And if positive feelings remain there a little longer, the fear or unsafety or ambiguous unpleasant feelings kick in and comes into the system and occupies the whole system. Sometimes we even see an association between a slight sensation related to joy and a diffuse feeling of fear and catastrophic like anticipatory thought that something dangerous, sad or fearful comes to me or will happen to me soon and I have to be on guard. Someone may get concerned about his family or children and get extreme negative thoughts about a potential threat coming in the near future. I've also met people who had developed obsessive compulsory thoughts and could get catastrophic outcomes or thoughts about outcomes after they felt happy. And then they had to do some rituals and some specific behaviors to neutralize these imaginations and these thoughts as a protective strategy. But protection against what? Sadly, it's against their own natural pleasant feelings. You see, a slight feeling of happiness will trigger catastrophic thoughts in someone, and that's very sad. Such a phenomenon on not being able to enjoy positive feelings is usually called as happiness gap, which many people struggle with. But some of people have no clue why they feel like this, despite they are willing to feel happy and joyful, both when they are alone and when they are with their friends and family. So also when we are habituated to suffer, to have an internal world which makes it painful or sad or scary for us all the time, then we tend strongly to attune into these kinds of emotional states compared to feeling from opposite state pole, such as joy, such as pleasure, such as happiness. Right? And then positive emotions may feel distant. So in many cases, happiness gap is a matter of unfamiliarity and strangeness for the nervous system. So is happiness become a trigger? And when it is a trigger, it means that you will start anticipating what will be the following wrong situation after this stranger joyous state. So a glimpse of a ease or of pleasure, delight will be followed by chaos and an old underlying unsafety. And this underlying unsafety and fear is actually an old part of your psyche, which is very interested in helping and protecting you from something new and potentially dangerous by giving you, a gut feeling that you must brace for impact, waiting for the other shoe to drop, something will happen soon, so you have to be cautious. And this defense part of our psyche has been ingrained in us and has had a protective role through years, through our childhood. So it can also be the case that such a trigger may initiate thoughts and behaviors which are destructive, like self-sabotage. As in this case, in this extreme case of self-sabotaging, the capacity to hold and tolerate emotions is very limited. But we have to unlearn this association and to help the nervous system to stay with happiness and tolerate it in a longer time, instead of switching off or anticipating negative results all the time. And this unlearning comes gradually by deliberately, and consciously pay attention to, thinking in and absorbing in tiny, rejoicing, pleasure moments of hope, of interest, of happiness, and just observing, and navigating emergence and landing of these glimpses of emotions into your nervous system. This will eventually lead to expanding your window of tolerance and capacity to hold on to more positive feelings. We know that research from neuroscience field suggests that the longer we are able to maintain and tolerate positive feelings, the stronger neural pathways will become. So this is actually about training your brain in order to getting able to redefine the nervous system's program. So it is actually about, rewiring nervous system through small but steady steps over time. First of all, it is important to notice. Remember, it is always so important to observe. You may recognize that the fear part gets activated very quickly when you're happy, but you should still observe. You are used to get, absorbed into that fear-based part instead of observing it. There lies the potential for change, because a constructive change process comes with observation and acknowledging all of those phenomena, all those reactions, even if they are old and destructive ones. Remember that, those old fear-driven parts of you got a very important function to protect you since you were a child, because the thorough functioning of nervous system was adjusted to protection and safety preserving program, and not to feel life vividly and authentically. You needed it as a child, otherwise you could collapse in fear and desperation. That is why this part, although destructive, deserves also recognition and attention. And to do so, you have to observe it at the first place. So next time you come into contact to a slight, amount of pleasure and real joy inside your body, just observe what happens. You know that you will get that protective fear-based part active in your system. That will be okay. Just see it as it is, and then kindly draw your attention back to the joy and happiness feeling or part. Maybe you notice that, it's not there, it's gone. That's okay. I know that this will happen. But try again. Just be curious and ask yourself, is there any sensation there in your body which signals the residual effect of that small bite of happiness or joy? For example, in your chest, in your stomach, in your jaw, through your face, and etc. Just scan your body and try to be there for a while. You see, observation is tightly connected to curiosity, and applying such a creative strategy will teach your nervous system to desensitize itself toward positive feelings and unlearn this association. And please remember that happiness lives within small moments of life, such as, getting some warm words, SMS from a good friend, or smelling your morning coffee, or having a delicious meal, and so on. So when we are used to suffer and are somewhat stuck into our painful internal landscape, we cannot recognize and pull out potential of happiness and safety and joy related to groundedness and feeling of living in presence. By such an approach, you can help your body to learn that you deserve to feel happy and hold on to pleasure and joy, and that there is no need to live, constantly in danger mode, so all the time. I hope that you feel happiness, you feel safety and pleasure fully without needing to use filter of fear and insecurity. This is what you deserve. Please forward this message to those you love and to your friends. We'll hopefully connect again soon. Thank you. Bye.